Shocking behavior caught on tape. This guy's here to visit the grave of his murdered wife. Is he in mourning? Apparently not. Kicking the flowers off your dead wife's grave is a strange way to pay your respects. Now he's using a crowbar to break his wife's headstone so that no one else can leave any flowers. The family of the dead woman suspected someone of desecrating her grave, so they hired a private investigator who wound up catching this entire shocking scene on tape.
We got people who can just take you out here so fast, man. It'll be like you out in the parking lot going, huh?
It's amateur night here at the old Sundown Saloon. Here's how not to win over your audience.
Yeah, I'll tell you, if you guys don't shut the about 200 people are going to be delivering behind you. No, really, don't mess with me, because
Apparently, he can't handle the pressure of the spotlight. Sensing that he didn't have the audience's undivided attention, he pulls out a real showstopper and hits one of his hecklers over the head with his guitar.
That was unnecessary.
give me security.
After this shocking display, he's actually trying to get the audience's approval.
I'm sorry, man. The guy fucking came at me. What do you think, folks?
No way.
Okay, sure.
Needless to say, in the music industry, this guy's what's known as a one-hit wonder.
Give me security.
Here's a department store cashier, just minding her own business. But what's this guy doing? Did he lose a contact lens? Did he drop his keys? No, he's trying to look up her dress. Watch again and see how low this guy will go to get a cheap thrill. Excuse me, ma'am, I think I dropped $1 up your skirt. Instead of looking up the cashier's dress, he should have been looking for surveillance cameras because moments later, undercover store security closed in and nabbed him. Here's the pool man who does more than just clean the pool. After getting into an argument with a tenant, he decides to get revenge. First, he makes sure the coast is clear. Then, he positions himself, exposes himself, and relieves himself. This is one pool cleaner who really puts the P in PH. You might not want this guy working on your pool, but at least you'd save money on heating costs. Most of us have shared at least one romantic moment in the back of a car. There's nothing shocking about that. But most prefer an out-of-the-way spot. Lookout Mountain, Inspiration Point, or a parking lot with a surveillance camera catching your every move. This couple put on quite a show for the security guards, who waited 30 minutes before stepping in to inform them that their shocking behavior was caught on tape. If you don't think you're being watched, think again. People are using surveillance cameras now more than ever.
Over the last couple of years, this industry has just grown at a rapid rate due to the fact people becoming aware of what equipment's out there, how it can be used for them to benefit them with watching the baby or protecting the business.
Private investigators can put hidden cameras just about anywhere.
It's very small. It only needs a 1/16 of an inch hole to see through the lens and view a whole room, actually.
In today's world, marriage requires honesty, trust, and sometimes a hidden camera. When this wife thought her husband might be seeing another woman, she decided to hide a video camera in their apartment. She heads off to work. As soon as she's gone, he picks up the phone. Who could he be calling? An old friend? The pizza man? Little mood lighting, a fluff of the pillows. He's obviously getting in the mood for something. There's a knock on the door, he goes to answer it, and the tape reveals his wife was only half right. In this case, the other woman is a man. Talk about shocking. A quick drink to relax, some money is exchanged, and it's back to the bedroom for a conjugal visit. Half an hour later, they reappear. a tender hug for a job well done. When Lucy sees this tape, Ricky's gonna have some serious splaining to do. It's Christmas time and Santa's out shopping for all the little boys and girls. After the jewelry store clerk heads into the back room, Santa sees something that the kids will like. No, he's not stuffing his stocking. He's shoving the loot in his jacket so he can quickly get back to his getaway sleigh. Safe to say you won't see this guy sitting next to Cody on Kathy Lee's Next Christmas Special. Hey, who ordered the pizza with sausage, onion, and dirt? Don't worry, it's still good. All you need to do is brush it off, give it a little taste test, and it's ready for delivery. All in 30 minutes or less. Naturally, that kind of service deserves a tip. The minister at this church knows all about the 10 Commandments, and he's apparently out to break every one of them. When a parishioner's sexual harassment complaints against the minister were ignored, she got even by hiring a private investigator who tailed the wayward holy man. Armed with his camera, the private eye made quite a revelation. Here's the minister coming out of a local bar with his arms around a woman who isn't his wife. Here he is at a local strip club making a generous donation to a woman who obviously can't afford to buy clothes. When confronted with the tape, the minister replied that there was a body double trying to sully his good name. That's some body double. He's managed to get an exact copy of the minister's car with an exact copy of his license plate. Holy conspiracy. Obviously, members of the clergy aren't immune to shocking behavior. Check out this Serbian nun as she goes for the throat of this Orthodox bishop. She was a little ticked because the bishop had allegedly been sleeping with several nuns. One was even rumored to be pregnant. Several nuns, huh? That's gotta be a sin. Who would stoop so low as to steal from the blind? Apparently, this deputy sheriff would. Watch as the deputy who is supposed to be providing security for the store's blind owner helps himself to the contents of the cash register. At this school in Michigan, the night janitor cleans out more than the classrooms. This guy actually cleaned out the medicine cabinet containing prescription drugs intended for the children. He stole a drug called Ritalin, which works to reduce hyperactivity in kids. But for adults, this drug is a potent stimulant. Thanks to the tape, he was fired before he broke his hopped-up cleaning record of 17 classrooms in 10 minutes. Mudslinging, innuendos, personal attacks, politics as usual. Now meet the candidate that takes sleaze to a new level. After 30 campaign signs disappeared before a local election, a volunteer hit the street with his video camera and caught a shocking scene, even for politics. The opposing candidate ripping down signs. After the footage was released, the candidate refused to withdraw from the race. But the voters obviously didn't support his shocking behavior. He was soundly defeated. When numerous women suspected something unsavory was going on in the dental chair, they brought in a female undercover agent from the district attorney's office who set up a camera, then set up an appointment. The dentist wastes no time. He completely anesthetized her for an otherwise routine procedure. But once she's unconscious, this checkup becomes anything but routine. As a result of this shocking behavior caught on tape, this dentist had to relocate his practice to the city jail. Who doesn't enjoy a good old-fashioned practical joke? The victim, for one. Watch as this guy named Jay pulls off one of the meanest tricks ever. He's making his girlfriend think she's just won a $10 million sweepstakes.
Hi, is Connie Brasseth here, please? Are you Connie?
Yeah.
Are you Connie?
Yeah.
Connie, you are the winner of the Super Sweepstakes giveaway.
You better go.
What do you think?
She's happy now, but not for long. Uh-oh, she realizes the guy in front of her is not Ed McMahon.
What do you think, Connie?
Is this a joke?
Is this the greatest day of your life or what?
Jay! Jay! Oh!
Did you win?
Do I get anything?
Practical jokes are one thing, but mean is mean. Just look at what these guys do. They take a purse, fill it with dog poop, then cover it with miscellaneous items. Now they leave it on a busy street to lure unsuspecting motorists. Let's listen in as these delinquents narrate.
We got jewelry, we got money. What is this though? I just, let me dig deeper. I just gotta dig deeper. Oh.
The poop in the purse prank is something that we, in a way, have seen for years, except now the 90s high-tech world makes it put on videotape so that they can watch it over and over.
And you thought your wife had a lot of you-know-what in her purse. Here's a variation on a theme. Instead of in a purse, this time it's in the bag. Now let's see what this lady does. She is a little more resourceful. This woman is shocked all right, but she still has the good sense to get a tissue and dispose of the little gift. Couldn't they have found a novelty shop with fake dog do? Maybe these guys will restore our faith in human nature.
Good guy.
Well, they are stopping to pick up a weary traveler.
Going. Where are you going? This way. Straight ahead.
Or maybe not. That's pretty mean. But they're not done yet.
Oh boy, he wants a ride. Which way are you going? Which way are you going, bud?
Oh, San Diego?
Boys will be boys, but it takes an adult to pull off one of the grossest practical jokes. In fact, one of the grossest things we've ever seen. During last year's Super Bowl, this Broncos fan had a nasty reaction to a Packers touchdown. So he prepared some special guacamole for his friends. He left his camera running so he could catch his Packer-loving buddies enjoying this tasty treat. And here comes one now. Just like Mom used to make. Now we take you from a Super Bowl party to the Super Bowl of bad sportsmanship. This coach of a youth football team shows you how not to argue a bad call. That's a 15-yarder right there.
Yeah, I think I got that on video too.
Looks like they should dump a bucket of Gatorade on this guy, just to cool him down.
We've seen so much of this in the professional field that, to some extent, it's filtered down and become acceptable in the amateur world, too.
Now watch as this high school football player decks a referee with one punch. Talk about unnecessary roughness. But the all-time unsportsmanlike prize goes to this coach, who tackles a pint-sized 8-year-old running back who's about to score a game-winning touchdown. Hey, coach, pick on someone your own size. Everybody's heard about the rising cost of going to college. After paying for tuition, books, room, and board, this student apparently couldn't afford clothes. Actually, he's just picking up some quick cash after a bet with his equally intellectual fraternity brothers. His audience isn't too enthusiastic. This guy is such an avid exhibitionist that he even sat down for our interview in the buff.
I was in competition for this other guy who was going to do it for 40 bucks. I said I'd do it for 20. I walked up to the counter. They didn't really respond to that and just kind of ran off and called campus safety. And then after that, I got arrested.
Campus safety, get the Jordan out of here.
Indecent exposure is a serious charge, or at least it's supposed to be.
The DA, all the lawyers I talked to, they all couldn't keep a straight face. And so eventually, the case got dropped. Hopefully, no one in my family has seen the tape and will ever see the tape.
Sorry, pal. We've a feeling they're seeing it right now.
Give him a towel or something!
Here comes the train rolling down the tracks. But what are these folks doing? Waiting for their loved ones at the next stop? Not exactly. You're about to witness a time-honored tradition. Many moons ago, a patron at a local railside bar offered free brews to anyone who flashed their fannies at the 11:30 train. 20 years and many beers later, the tradition continues on the second Saturday of each July. Definitely a more interesting annual observance than Arbor Day. To most of us, mooning is shocking behavior, but not in North Carolina. A state court has ruled that baring your backside is just as good as saying, "Howdy, welcome to the Tar Heel State." Of course, not everyone agrees with the court's ruling. But for some folks, mooning is just plain old-fashioned fun. If you think a naked man roaming the streets at Mardi Gras is pretty shocking, wait till you see this. When this guy tries to put his clothes back on, this woman tries to grab the ultimate Mardi Gras souvenir. He'll think twice before dropping his drawers again. Mom, Dad, you're wondering what your kids are doing at college? Take a look. They call this class Exhibitionism 101. Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Police respond to reports of a deranged man armed with a gun. The building is surrounded. A tense standoff ensues. Then, without warning, the suspect suddenly brings out the one weapon the cops weren't prepared for. A flash grenade is detonated. The officers swarm the suspect and take him into custody. Thanks to their quick and decisive action, no one is hurt. The number of these shocking crimes is obviously increasing. Watch as this guy attempts to escape from police by jumping over a staircase railing. This is why your mother told you to wear clean underwear. Or at least some underwear. Now check out this shocking footage from a private eye hired by a man who suspected his girlfriend was cheating on him.
I just had a suspicion that something was going on. I was going to go away for the weekend, and I thought, you know what, maybe I should hire Greg, the PI, and see if he can come up with something over the weekend while I was away.
Let's listen as the private investigator gives us the play-by-play.
Look at this. They're not strangers. Tell you, man, he's going to go postal when he sees this stuff.
Later, the girlfriend returns home with her special friend. Watch as they walk hand in hand into the house.
This is nuts. Right through the front door.
Uh-oh, guess who's driving up? That's right, it's her boyfriend.
He told her he wouldn't be back until tomorrow. It's about 12 hours early. Oh, man. I'm getting out of the van. I gotta go around back with the video cam.
This private eye has a pretty good idea of what's going to happen next.
Okay, if Casanova bails, he's gotta come out the back door here. This is nuts.
And there he is, trying to put his clothes on. But there's no time.
Uh-oh, I see him.
I had no idea that a person ran out of my house without any clothes on until the next morning when Greg had called me.
After Bill showed his girlfriend the evidence, it was hard for her to deny that she had been with another man.
Well, after I confronted her and she was in denial, I took her outside and showed her the footprints, and that's when she decided to give it up.
This is how a lot of relationships end, and a lot of Sasquatch rumors begin. Cheating is not just an American pastime. Here's a married Russian dignitary frolicking in a steam room with some naked female comrades. But his wife isn't one of them. Turns out it was part of a blackmail scheme set up by the Russian mob. After the incident hit the local papers, this bureaucrat said "Das Vidanya," or goodbye, to his marriage. As some marriages are coming to an end, others are just beginning. Here's a shocking wedding tradition that may or may not catch on. Each groomsman brushes his teeth and spits the leftovers into a glass. Notice them sharing the same brush.
This is absolutely disgusting. Yes, it is.
When the last groomsman's gums are polished, it's time for the moment of truth. The groom has the glass. Will he do it? Yes! Ah, minty fresh. Champagne and toothpaste for everybody. This is some of the most shocking behavior we've ever witnessed. When a woman discovered that her neighbor was exposing himself while peeking through her windows, she hired a private investigator to set up a hidden camera in hopes of catching the man red-handed. Here he thinks he may have been spotted and slinks back inside. But you won't believe what he does next. That's right, the full Monty. When the tape was turned over to police, this man was convicted of indecent exposure. He got 3 years probation and was forced to move. Ah, another perfect day in suburbia. Here we see two neighbors exchanging gardening tips and apparently some very harsh words. Suddenly, a fight breaks out. One man is knocked to the ground while his neighbor threatens him with a shovel. As the man tries to run back to his house, his shovel-wielding neighbor smacks him. It turns out these upscale suburbanites had been feuding for some time. This prompted the victim to set up a camera to make sure his neighbor's shocking behavior was caught on tape. You have to stoop pretty low to steal from your neighbors. This guy got down on all fours. After losing thousands of dollars in electronics, cash, and tools, a homeowner set up a camera to find out what was really going on. The tape reveals his next-door neighbor crawling through his doggy door in search of more loot. Maybe he was just coming over to borrow a cup of sugar. Unfortunately for him, the judge didn't see it that way. Some people don't need doggy doors to break into your home. Some people already have keys. Check out this nasty landlord. When things started disappearing from her refrigerator, the tenant set up a camcorder. What was caught on tape is both shocking and repulsive. Here, the landlord is actually urinating in his tenant's Chinese leftovers. The tenant threw away the food and turned the tape over to authorities. As for the landlord, he got 6 months in jail and 5 years probation. Now watch as this landlord and her accomplice use a passkey to enter a tenant's apartment and steal some loot. Look at all this stuff. Ah, she eyes the camera, not knowing that it's on.
Wait a minute, let me read. I'm looking. Hang on. He's got all these gadgets here.
What this criminal mastermind doesn't know is that she can steal the camera, but the tape recording her is still in the VCR. When close to $1,000 in quarters disappeared over a 5-month period, the tenant in this apartment set up a camera and caught the thief red-handed. Watch as the man hired to get rid of ants and cockroaches instead scoops up handfuls of the tenant's change. Look, ma'am, I got all those bugs taken care of, and you don't have to worry about those pesky quarters either. When several valuable items mysteriously vanished, this guy's roommate set up a hidden camera to solve the case. What he discovered will shock you. Sure, his roommate was stealing from him, but he was also doing something much worse. Watch closely. He's using a sewing needle to poke holes in his roommate's condoms. With surgical precision, he creates holes undetectable to the human eye. Thanks to the video camera, this evil deed was uncovered before the condoms were ever used. When an elderly patient noticed that cash was missing from his home, he set up a video camera. And lo and behold, he caught his own nurse, hired to care for him, ripping him off. Just another example of the rising cost of healthcare. These people were so concerned about protecting their home, they not only set up surveillance cameras, they got themselves a couple of guard dogs. Oops, looks like their plan backfired. Watch these pooches as they dig through the trash and climb on the furniture. Once their master saw this shocking footage, these trusty watchdogs were banished to the backyard with no chew toys. Nothing promotes family togetherness like a trip to the mall. Looks like 25% off wasn't quite enough for this group. These folks utilize the 5-finger discount to keep their credit card balances in check. They even get the kids into the act. Don't worry, they'll bag it themselves.
Obviously, that's not what you teach your children to do, particularly not to be so stupid to have it be caught on tape.
Watch as Junior crams loads of stolen jeans into the stroller. Now even baby sister becomes an unwitting accomplice. She's lying on top of the stolen goods to hide them from store personnel. Now check out what happens next. Feeling they're being watched, they decide to ditch the stroller. Later, thinking the coast is clear, they try to unload the loot and retrieve their baby buggy. But security steps in to inform them that this shocking family portrait has been caught on tape. Most shoplifters try to be discreet. Not these guys. Watch as they shove more than 25 pounds of meat into their jackets and pant legs. Steak, tenderloins, pot roast, chuck roast, bacon, sausage. These guys will take it all. After the shop owner lost several cases of meat, he set up his home video camera. Here, the tape reveals the brazen thief noticing the camera and continuing to shoplift unconcerned. Here's one way to cut costs this Thanksgiving. Watch this woman as she tries to steal a turkey the hard way. This technique takes powerful thighs. As she waddles away, the poultry shifts positions and hits the floor. Then she kicks the bird and tries to blame another customer. When most people see a donation jar, they try to decide how much to give. But check out the guy in the blue shirt. He's trying to decide how much to take. I know. How about all of it? Watch again. He places his grocery bag in front of the donation jar, then calmly walks out of the store. Thanks to the video camera, the heartless thief was forced to plead guilty to stealing $59 intended for the poor, although he did pay for the slushie. If you're heading out of town this weekend, you might not want to let this guy take care of your pad. Let's see, the fish have been fed, the gas is turned off, but he's got one more thing on his checklist. That's right, panty sniffing. This guy was supposed to be house-sitting for his neighbor when he was caught on tape rifling through her lacy undergarments. Ah, Victoria's Secret.
I'm sure the panty sniffer must have felt rather humiliated when his behavior got caught on tape. It really shows how fearful people are, even in their own homes, about things going on that they need to protect themselves against.
Here he takes a few samples for future inspection. You can never have enough clean underwear.
I don't know that this man was doing any harm sniffing panties, but I guess they were happy to find out.
So you think you've got the cutest baby in town, but are you willing to fight to prove it? Taking pride in your child is admirable, but these moms took it a little too far. After a local baby beauty pageant ended in controversy, a no-holds-barred brawl broke out between competing moms. Come on, Mom, you know better than that. You're supposed to lead with a jab. Revenge can be sweet, but it can also be stinky. No one likes ATM fees. And here's what one angry customer did about excessive bank charges. He's using his personal muck spreader to make one shocking deposit. He's spraying 4 tons of manure on the bank's door. The huge pile of manure more than guaranteed this day was a bank holiday. The doors were jammed shut, and it took a maintenance crew nearly 2 days to get it all cleaned up. Watch the top right corner surveillance camera. This woman apparently had a beef with a local library and was caught on tape shoving pieces of raw liver into the book return slot. Guess she forgot the grilled onions. Here's a situation we've all been in, arguing over a parking spot. As this woman tries to back into a space, this guy pulls in and steals her spot. Naturally, she's not too happy. He doesn't care. He brushes her off and walks away. After finding a spot of her own, here she comes. What's she gonna do, leave him a note? No, she's letting the air out of his tires.
I think we can all relate to people taking our parking spots, and we all at least would have wanted to give somebody a flat, even if we didn't do it.
30 minutes later, the guy returns, ready to head home. Oops, he realizes something is wrong with his car. Wonder how that could have happened. It's a good thing he liked that parking spot, because he's gonna be there for a while. Just because someone's been nailed by a video camera once doesn't mean they won't try it again. This guy got caught in the act setting this truck on fire and wound up going to jail. But old habits die hard. After being released, he returned to the scene of the crime and was caught by the same security camera vandalizing the very same truck. He might not be very smart, but at least he's persistent. Sexual harassment can be a confusing area of the law, but there's no mistaking this guy, who couldn't keep his hands off his female employees or himself. When one woman's complaints of sexual harassment went ignored, a private investigator wired her for video. The camera is actually positioned in her blouse.
In the sexual harassment, this was fairly crude behavior. It wasn't like persisting to ask somebody out on a date or telling them how nice they look. This was taking off your clothes, grabbing your penis, chasing a woman around, way beyond what one would expect.
Here she is running away from this sexual predator. Thanks to the tape, this obscene man was fired, and the woman has filed a lawsuit against him. Ever wonder what happens to your car when you hand your keys to a valet? Well, here's the parking lot valet who takes special care of his customers' cars. This guy does things you might not think of to protect your vehicle. First, he makes sure your door is securely shut. Then he makes adjustments to your side panel. He even fills your tank using his own anti-knock additive, of course. Clearly, he must hate his job, his life, and especially that little valet outfit of his. Look, here's our chef preparing another culinary delight. 1 cup of chicken broth, 3 chopped carrots, a dash of paprika, but one thing is missing. Ah, that's right, a generous portion of hair. Now, most chefs would toss out the soup and start from scratch. But you know what they say, waste not, want not. That's right, he wrings his hair back into the soup. If you're in this restaurant, you probably want to steer clear of the soup du jour. When bottles of booze began to disappear, the owner of this tavern says she set up a camera. But what she caught on tape was far more shocking than thievery, and she swears it's true. Looks like the bartender's about to prepare one of his specialties. Is it a pina colada? A Long Island iced tea? Actually, it's a martini, but the way he makes it is downright disgusting. There's no mistaking what he just did. But we just can't believe it. He's using his own version of a swizzle stick to make sure it's stirred just right. It would appear our bartending friend is working through some issues. Amazingly, no one at the bar seems to notice. Oh no, he's handing it to the customer. Don't drink it. No, don't do it. Phew, that was close. Oh no, she does drink it. You don't need to be a health inspector to know that there is a code violation here. Needless to say, when the owner saw this tape, the bartender was fired. These kids just graduated from high school, and they're flying to Mexico to celebrate. Evidently, they didn't like the in-flight movie, so they decided to make their own. Breaking out a video camera and staging the world's first wet t-shirt contest at 30,000 feet. Talk about flying the friendly skies. Uh-oh, looks like the fun is over. Here comes the flight attendant. Certainly he'll put a stop to this shocking behavior.
Number 5, please. Some water for contestant number 5. She's dry.
Actually, he's decided to serve as master of ceremonies.
The great shirt.
Now the girls are brought into the cockpit for judging.
Number 2, come up. Down, 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 down. Okay, do a little wiggle. Yes!
And the winner is...
Number 5. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner. Contestant number 3.
And the losers were the flight crew, when this shocking tape wound up in the hands of authorities. Everyone needs to let out a little stress at work from time to time, but this guy's behavior is downright shocking. He's probably mad because he wasn't named Employee of the Month. Again. And what a shame. This probably takes him out of the running for next month, too. A nanny cam caught this clown taking a bathroom break from entertaining at a little boy's first birthday party. What's his specialty? Making balloon animals? How about juggling? Nope. This clown's best trick is petty larceny. Here he spots a baby bank full of money and decides to dig in. Since his clown suit doesn't have any pockets, he doesn't know where to put the money. What this clown also doesn't know is that every moment of his shocking behavior is being caught on tape. After being confronted with the evidence, he had to pay back all the money. What are they teaching in clown college these days? It's the annual spring pageant at this wholesome elementary school. And while the kids are singing their hearts out, there's something fishy back in the cafeteria. And it's not the day-old tuna casserole. These lunch ladies are taking off a lot more than their hairnets. They're also exposing themselves while another school employee gets it all on tape. Here's another trusted educator joining in the fun. This is definitely worth the cover charge. Fortunately, no children witnessed this truly shocking behavior. But when the tape ended up in the hands of school administrators, these naughty employees weren't just sent to the principal's office, they were expelled from campus. Now, aren't you glad lunch ladies have to wear plastic gloves? On our last show, you saw this guy trying to get a cheap thrill by looking up the salesgirl's skirt. But this guy's got a more devious plan. Sure, he starts on the ground, but when that's not working well enough, he acts like the primitive man he is and goes in search of a tool. He heads over to Kitchenwares and finds what he's looking for. See it there, tucked underneath the clothes? The shiny lid of an aluminum pan. He slides it directly underneath her. He uses the lid's reflective surface to look up her skirt. Security guards monitoring the situation move in to stop the shocking behavior. Finally, the peeping Tom is escorted out of the store. Amazingly, despite all the commotion, the woman just keeps on shopping. That must be some red tag sale. Who hasn't been frustrated by some lousy TV repairman? Well, this guy is at the end of his rope. It's the 5th time he's had to bring his set back to the same repair shop, and he's not too happy about it. He wants his money back, but of course she gives him the old "my manager isn't here" routine. He's obviously pretty upset, but he decides to try to keep his blood pressure down and head home. But on his way back to his car, he realizes he shouldn't be lugging this heavy thing all the way home. It's useless. So he storms back into the repair shop to drop off the set one more time. It's going to take a real TV repairman to fix that set now. We're all taught to love thy neighbor, but not thy neighbor's wife. Now you'll see why. This guy stole this guy's wife, and it started a bitter feud. Hey, that's not very neighborly. Because of this kind of shocking behavior, the jilted husband set up a video camera to capture his neighbor's abuses on tape. How do you respond to such an unprovoked attack? Well, this guy fights water with water. Somehow he keeps his neighbor at bay, but not for long. Eventually, he manages to wrestle the hose away. Although he still has a little trouble with the fence. After seeing this tape, it's a wonder why the wife would marry either one of these guys. After seeing our last show, this viewer sent in a tape of his roommate's shocking behavior. He suspected they were stealing from him, so he set up a hidden camera. Here's his female roommate making a series of long-distance phone calls on his phone. Later, his other roommate comes in and steals some quarters from a bag next to the television. Things only get worse from here. That's right. She's picking her nose and using his bedspread as a tissue. Later in the day, she returns with a disgusting surprise. It's a cup of urine, and she pours it all over his pillows. Even the dogs are offended by this move. Although the guy who sent us this tape immediately moved out of this apartment, he never confronted his roommates about this shocking behavior. Until now.
Many times we have followed someone for a specific type of behavior and found something far more shocking.
This hidden camera was set up by a guy who was trying to figure out why his toothbrush was always wet, even before he brushed his teeth. He suspected that his roommate was using his toothbrush, but his roommate insisted that he wasn't. Well, now we're going to get to the bottom of this. Nope, the roommate is using his own toothbrush. Wait a minute. Is he really doing what it looks like? That's right. He's scrubbing the toilet bowl with his roommate's toothbrush, then putting it back in the holder as if nothing had happened. We don't want to know what he did with the dental floss. In America, when women want to cut loose, they come to places like this to watch men take it all off. The trend has come to Russia, but with a shocking twist. Not only do the guy strippers take it off, but the women jump up on stage and get naked too. And she told her husband she was at the Bolshoi Ballet. Audience members willingly getting naked on the stage is one thing, but when this woman struggles to keep her panties on, that's when the show becomes truly shocking. Look at her shake her head no. Apparently to this guy, "niet" doesn't mean yet. Nothing shocking here, just a bunch of healthy young Americans drinking plenty of fluids, eating right, and getting lots of exercise. Actually, these kids have decided to hold their own sex on the beach contest.
When you combine young people, hot weather, alcohol, and moral changes in the culture, anything can happen.
As you can see, the action was so X-rated, the police had no choice but to shut the contest down.
Leave it at there now. The police are out front. We need you to leave orderly, okay? Thank you very much.
You know, we come to spring break trying to have a good time. Can't even have a good time. Drink a couple beers, see a couple What's the harm? Took two of my best friends to jail. They didn't do nothing. They were just freaking on the beach.
The cops saw things differently, and these kids ended up in court.
I didn't take anything off.
The judge didn't believe them, and because their shocking behavior was caught on tape, neither do we.
I didn't take anything off.
This guy's wife suspects he's been cheating on her, so she hires this private investigator to help her discover the truth. Her partner captures everything with a hidden video camera, while the PI acts as bait. And this fish is definitely biting. He starts chatting her up as soon as she sits down. That doesn't make him an adulterer. Maybe he's just a friendly guy. A really friendly guy. He wants to make sure that she thinks he's single. So he has to get rid of one crucial piece of evidence. That's right, he's discreetly removing his wedding ring and hiding it in his pocket. Pretty smooth. Minutes later, they're at a table, and Romeo's telling her about his secret love nest.
I got the penthouse. You do.
And if she didn't have enough proof, this last shot gave the wife all the evidence she needed to file for divorce. Looks like this guy will be left with only half a penthouse.
Most of the time when a client comes to us to have somebody investigated that they think might be cheating, their suspicions are usually correct. About 90% of the time, they are doing what they believe that they're doing.
Most cheating spouses wait till they need to scratch that 7-year itch. But some infidelity can occur even before the wedding cake has been cut. What's this? A bride and groom who just can't wait for their honeymoon to begin? Now that's the bride, all right, but the guy she's with is the best man. This shocking footage was captured by a surveillance camera on the grounds of a hotel during a wedding reception. Now comes the groom looking for his lovely bride. Here comes the bride, and there goes the best man. And the groom, he doesn't suspect a thing. This is one bride who definitely shouldn't be wearing white.
Okay, come on out here for me if you would.
If anyone's used to seeing shocking behavior, it's the police.
Let's give you a couple of bonds.
No ifs, ands, or buts. Now here's a guy who's been pulled over while wearing women's clothing. But cross-dressing is only the beginning of his shocking behavior. The police ask him a series of routine questions.
For the record, please state your full name and address. Your telephone number, sir?
He doesn't respond.
Your social security number?
Finally, he can keep his silence no longer. He's got a very important question of his own.
Hey, my itch. Can I scratch them real quick?
No, wait till he finishes.
Damn, they itch. If you refuse to take the chemical, the physical breath test, or the urine test.
Even the police officer can't keep a straight face.
They itch. You refuse these tests. Additionally, your refusal is admissible into evidence against you in any criminal or administrative proceeding. Do you understand?
This ain't funny.
We beg to differ. This is one problem cops don't prepare for back at Police Academy. Sometimes the shocking behavior continues inside the squad car. Here, a cop inspects a vehicle of a motorist who had had too much to drink. The drunk driver is already in the back seat of the squad car. You can't see him, but you sure can hear him. And if you were there, you'd probably smell him. There goes breakfast. Lunch.
and say goodbye to dinner.
What you doing in there, boy?
What a shame. The cop just had his car detailed. But you can always trust a man of the cloth to set a good example. Guess again. This is what happens when priests attack. It all began with a baptism for a little boy. But when the priest gets agitated by this woman, she's the one getting baptized. That's right, he's splashing her with holy water. She responds by throwing her bag at him. But the good father's a pretty good fighter. Take another look. He douses her again and then goes on the attack. No one was hurt in this parish brawl, and the baptism went on as scheduled. But they did have to send out for more holy water. They may be called public restrooms, but when you close the stall door, you expect a little privacy. Not when this guy's around. He's managed to sneak into a woman's bathroom and hide a camera next to one of the toilets. He's hoping to capture unsuspecting women doing something they definitely wouldn't want caught on tape. When it comes to being a pervert, this guy's a perfectionist. He works tirelessly to get just the right angle. Now a little toilet paper for camouflage, and he thinks he's committed the perfect crime. But when one of his victims found the camera and turned it over to authorities, they locked him up and flushed away the key. It's shocking what people are willing to do to keep up with their hectic schedules. Here's a busy girl on the go. She doesn't have time to head home and change, so she does it right here in the street.
When somebody undresses in public, one of the reasons may be that they get very turned on by knowing that somebody may be copying a look and maybe also being turned on by looking at them. This is the way she expresses herself. She's very sexualized.
Her friend holds a jacket to shield her from view. If she was really looking for a little privacy, she could have changed in a public restroom. But, as we've already seen, that's not always such a good idea. Don't be fooled by the leg kicks. These aren't the real Rockettes. They're just some young exhibitionists putting on an X-rated show. They had no idea that their shocking behavior was being caught on tape. They also didn't realize that among their 3,000 fans were a handful of cops. The officers were kind enough to wait till the show was almost over before stepping in and shutting it down. Watch as an unhappy spectator throws a beer can at one of the cops. It serves as a diversion to allow these talented performers to escape. Is this another police officer about to arrest a pretty girl for showing a little too much skin? Not this guy. This proves that even cops are capable of some truly shocking behavior. Here are your tax dollars at work. His captain may not agree, but this is the best bust he's been on all night.
He's definitely acting out his own fantasy. He doesn't have any boundaries. And he also has an attitude of, I'm a policeman, I'm in control, I have power. He doesn't care about the consequences.
Now it appears that enough is enough, and Officer Friendly is finally going to lay down the law. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to get lipstick all over my uniform. You have the right to call me after my shift is over. Just doing my job, ma'am. Here's more of your hard-earned money going down the drain. These guys are city employees in charge of handling all those quarters you pump into parking meters. Wait a minute, is that the shop steward filling his pocket with change?
Money is such a magnetic thing. I mean, when you see it, you will go for it. This was such petty theft. Quarters. These guys probably couldn't get more than a few bucks. They risked their lives, they risked their careers, they risked their jobs for that. It's totally silly.
Now he's teaching his assistant how it's done. These guys must really need to do a lot of laundry. But now they get to do it behind bars. Yes, hidden cameras are everywhere, catching your every move, including the bad ones. You're even being watched on elevators. Check out these guys who get frustrated because the elevator doors won't close. Later they close, but won't open. And when they reach for the phone to call for help, they realize the phone doesn't work either. Evidently, these guys have heard a little bit too much elevator music, and they are taking it out on the phone. Maybe next time they'll take the stairs. Here we see a Pee-wee football game in progress. A pretty good one, too. Lots of long runs, and the kids are displaying excellent sportsmanship. Up in the stands, it's a different story. Instead of rooting for their kids, these parents are fighting. Their behavior was so shocking that military police stationed nearby were forced into action. Why were the parents fighting? Maybe they were trying to break the 6-6 tie. This shocking footage came to us from a telemarketing agency where these two guys were involved in one of the most bizarre sexual harassment cases ever caught on tape. No, their victim wasn't a woman. It's the man who sits at this desk. Watch as this guy torments his colleague by repeatedly unzipping his pants. His buddy thinks it's pretty funny. What happens next is not a laughing matter. That's right, he's exposing himself. Watch again as the victim tries to push him away, but to no avail. He's just trying to do his work, but this pervert won't let him. The only way to stop this guy's shocking behavior was to confront him with the videotape. Here we see some health-conscious young adults getting ready to do a little exercise. Are they just stripping down in order to get into their workout clothes? No, this is actually an annual event known as the Naked Mile.
You're doing it all right. Way to go, you guys.
But of course, the race is measured in inches. Perhaps this woman was also running the Naked Mile. But she seems to have veered off the jogging trail. The guys with the video camera don't seem to mind.
Yeah, baby!
Woo! The light turned green a long time ago, but for some reason, nobody's moving. At this bachelor party, the guys ordered an extra-large pizza and a regular-sized stripper, but it looks like the orders got switched. And that led to some truly shocking behavior. This is why you should never let your fiancé plan your bachelor party.
You know why? They call me the Avalanche.
Because you're avalanche. I don't know.
Miraculously, no one was seriously injured, and the wedding went on as scheduled. For most people, their wedding is the biggest day of their lives. Lots of planning goes into it, and everything has to be just right. But sometimes, things don't go as planned. This groom is putting the whole in sickness and in health thing to an early test. Ugh. He got it on the best man's shoes. That's gotta be bad luck.
I realized I was going to puke as the priest and rabbi began the ceremony. I remember that I couldn't hear anything around me. I didn't try to make it to the bathroom because I didn't have any time. It came over me just like that, and it was all over within a matter of seconds. I'm a little embarrassed by it. It's more that I feel bad for Marcia. You know, it's her perfect day, or supposed to have been her perfect day.
So what advice does he have for the men who are about to take the plunge?
Don't drink and marry. That's my advice to others. Don't drink and marry.
Here's a groom who could have used that advice. He also had his bachelor party the night before his wedding. They had to finish the ceremony sitting down. The bride? Oh, she's not mad. That's how she always looks. Staring straight ahead, not making eye contact. Oh yeah, this marriage has a great future. No problem with this groom. He's got the right tux, the right ring, and the right to remain silent. Actually, the police got a tip that the groom was wanted for burglary, so they crashed the wedding.
Oh, man. Ain't this a bitch?
When the groom said, "I do," the cop said, "No, you don't."
You can't take that man away. He's ready. You can't take that. You can't do that. It ain't right. It ain't right.
After a brief scuffle between the wedding party and the cops, the groom got to spend his wedding night in jail. Looks like the honeymoon will have to wait for a conjugal visit. For these wedding guests, shocking behavior meant putting some trick candles on their friend's wedding cake. Watch as the candles refuse to blow out. Now these pranksters shower the bride and groom with party string. But suddenly, the harmless prank blows up in their face. Take another look. The party string ignites a fire that explodes in the face of the bride and groom. The incident left the newlyweds frightened but unharmed. Next time, they'll stick to rice or confetti. There's garbage, and then there's trash. This arsonist is setting fire to a dumpster in a public park where children play. Fortunately, when a tape of this shocking behavior reached authorities, only the arsonist got burned. Someone was stealing panties from this chest of drawers, so the owner set up a hidden camera to find out who the culprit was. And there he is, her next-door neighbor. He took the key from under her mat and used it to break into her house. Thanks to this videotape, she changed the lock and found a new hiding place for the key. This guy is also looking to take home some ladies' underwear. But he doesn't need to steal it. He's got plenty of cash. After picking out some frilly items, he waits until the coast is clear, then discreetly makes his way to the ladies' dressing room. Oh, that's nice. Ah, that makes me look fat. Purple is definitely my color. It's so me. It appears that the shopper has found exactly what he's looking for. A purple bra with sequins. There's only one thing left to check. Yep, it's padded. Perfect. I'll take it. We've already seen that when cops pull people over to the side of the road, things can get pretty weird.
Hey, my bitch, you gonna scratch him real quick?
But it's when people are taken into custody that the shocking behavior really begins.
Are you denying me the use of the bathroom? I will piss here on the floor.
This guy's been brought in to take a sobriety test at the local jail, but he's got a plan to escape. First, he cleverly drops something out of his wallet to distract the officer. Now he tries to drill his way out, using his head. He's making some progress. Check out the hole in the wall. Later, he stages another daring escape. No jail can hold this guy. This woman manages to keep on her feet. She just can't keep her clothes on. There's no business like show business, even when you're at the local jail. She thinks she's just entertaining these two officers. But when she finds out her shocking behavior is caught on tape, the show's over.
You're being videotaped by the Broward County Sheriff's Office. You just advised me about that now. So exactly when was this videotaping just a few minutes ago? Just could you be a little more specific?
Yeah, right before you
when I said.
She was convicted and lost her license. But thanks to this screen test, she's garnered a lot of attention from major Hollywood agents. We've all heard the saying, when you gotta go, you gotta go. But this guy took it to heart. He's just been arrested for driving under the influence, but right now he's got an even bigger problem.
I had to use the bathroom right now. If you do not allow me, I will piss here on the floor.
I cannot go in the men's room.
Are you denying me the use of the bathroom?
Yes, I am at this time.
She is denying me
because I cannot accompany you in there.
That's all I'm asking.
I cannot believe you did that.
I cannot believe you let me in the court.
You have the right to remain silent.
I have to use the bathroom.
At this time, I'm going to let you clean this floor. Stay over here, please. I don't want that tracked all over this place.
This guy likes to stand in his doorway with his robe wide open. Not a pretty sight. He did this every day for a month, so his neighbors set up a hidden camera. He said he was just being friendly. But when police saw this videotape, they didn't call it friendly. They called it flashing and arrested him for indecent exposure. It's fight night, and you've got a ringside seat. This girl just found out that her best friend was sleeping with her boyfriend. Later, this becomes a tag team match when another girl enters the fray.
Let go. Let go. Let go. Come on.
Ladies, there's a more civilized way to settle this. Call Jerry Springer.
Come on. Hey.
She broke it down.
Get hurt. Come on.
Prepare yourself, because this is some of the most shocking and disgusting behavior we've ever seen. It appears to be just a little healthy competition, but it's quite unhealthy. In fact, it's downright sick. No, it's not a beer chugging contest. It's the exact opposite. These two teams are squaring off over trash cans, trying to see who can be the first to fill theirs up with vomit.
That's a great barber.
And although these guys were eventually crowned the champions, it's hard to imagine that anyone associated with this shocking behavior is actually a winner. Check out this couple. They're in the mood for love, but they just can't wait to get home. Evidently, carbon monoxide is a natural aphrodisiac, because these two lovers begin to disrobe in the middle of an exhaust-filled parking garage. What they don't know is that a security camera is capturing their shocking behavior on tape.
The thrill behind having any kind of sexual exchange in public is that it's very, very exciting, and you know that you shouldn't be doing it, and you think somebody's going to be watching, and that's even more exciting.
Uh-oh, here comes another vehicle. Imagine that. Who'd have thought somebody'd come here to park their car? Well, now they're going to have to put their clothes back on and find a cheap motel room off the interstate. Making love in a public parking garage is one thing, but the most shocking behavior possible is making love in front of thousands of spectators. Like these football fans who think they can get away with having sex up in the cheap seats. Uh-oh, here comes a security guard. Looks like they've been stopped just short of the goal line. Now, at this baseball game, this guy and these two girls show us a shocking way to turn a triple play. Check out the guy on the right. Hey, buddy, if you want a closer look, try the binoculars. Now, this is the most shocking display of public affection we've ever seen. This guy has a rare opportunity to hit an inside-the-park home run. Look, she's even got her pants down around her ankles. But even more shocking is that he doesn't swing at the pitch, and he's called out on strikes.